Today we would like to talk to you a little bit about the benefits of having feeder pigs on your small farm or homestead, or if you're kind of like us, you're sort of a farmstead. And so the benefits of having pigs is that they compost really well for you. If your situation is like ours and you have a pen that's set up, it's sort of mucky and wet for them pretty often, you can do things like feed them household scraps, throw hay in there, grass clippings, leaves, different things like that, and your pigs will actually compost everything for you. That's pretty much what ours do. We throw all kinds of scraps and household food in there. Some people say not to, but they really enjoy it as a good treat. And then what they don't eat, they actually, what's wrong? What they don't eat, they actually bury. And so they constantly keep the ground turned up, and they're constantly churning the ground. And so it does make for a muddy, sloppy pen, but it also makes for really good compost. And so if you're considering getting pigs, that's one thing that is sort of a benefit. And then of course, if you're raising them for meat, then you have your own homemade or home-raised farm fresh meat, which is what we do. And then you can always sell piglets as a profit, and that's a little bit of a benefit as well to your farm or your homestead. It's kind of an income. And then, so pigs are something that are really worth considering. Some of the negatives to pigs is that they can be a little bit hard to handle, especially when they get up real big. We kind of run into that with our boar hog. He was a little bit hard to handle when it come time to load him up and take him to have him slaughtered. He was a little bit difficult to handle. So that's something you have to consider as well. And not only that, but they're pretty harsh on your ground. So if you have a grassy area, they're going to root it up and they're going to tear up the ground. So that's something that you need to consider when you're putting them in a specific area. And so they can be a little bit difficult on your fencing as well. Some people bury fencing to keep them in because they will kind of root out underneath the fence. And then there's other options as well, such as nose rings and things like that. Those are options for your smaller pigs. It'd be very difficult to put a nose ring into a larger pig. Some people can. We didn't. We chose to use electric fencing to keep ours in. So that's things that you have to consider. You kind of want to weigh out your pros and cons when getting pigs for your property. But they're definitely a good addition to a small farm or homestead. Another thing that you have to be careful with is that pigs multiply very quickly. So you want to do your research before going and buying a bunch of pigs at once. You might want to just start out with one or two. We started out with two. We started out with a male and a female, and we've had a couple of sets of piglets at this point, and so it's worked out pretty well because right now all we have is our sow and her piglets, and so we're not just overrun and overwhelmed, which is something that can happen with pigs very quickly. So that's definitely something. Did you just pop me? That's definitely something to consider whenever looking into getting pigs. But of course, the biggest benefit is that if you raise them yourself, then you have farm fresh meats that you have raised to feed your family. And that's always a great feeling, knowing where your meat came from, how it was raised, and how it was handled when it come time to slaughter. So those are definitely some of the benefits. And then today we will be talking a little bit about dealing with an injured piglet. I'm kind of going to show you guys what we've been doing and how it's working for us. So that being said, what works for us and is working for our piglet right now doesn't necessarily mean that it'll work for all injured piglets or all injured animals. I just wanted to kind of show you guys what we've been doing, and we've had good luck with it so far. So I kind of wanted to pass the information along for someone that might be looking on solutions to take care of a piglet that's injured at home. And this happens whenever you have large pigs. Ours are Hampshire and Yorkshire mixed, so they're very large feeder pigs. You do lose piglets. That's just a part of it. It's an unfortunate part of it because it is heartbreaking, but whenever you have a farm or a homestead, you're going to lose animals. It's just part of it. You can prevent as much as you possibly can, but in this situation where we chose to let nature take its course and we left the piglets with the sow, you are going to have incidents where piglets get stepped on and she lays down on some of them, and then some of them just don't make it. So out of 13, we have 9 left that are actually with the mom, 1 in here, and we've lost 3. There is a great possibility that we could still lose the one that's injured, Mildred, that has the leg injury, but we're doing our very best to try to prevent that. So far, she's going on 4 days of being in the house, and she seems to be recovering very well. That's kind of why I wanted to share this information, so that anybody that might be looking for solutions to treat an injured piglet might have a little bit of luck with it. So for our milk, what we have been doing is using this product right here. I don't know if you guys can tell, it is a little expensive. We bought it from our local feed store, and this is just a bag of colostrum. Now it says on there that you really don't want to use it for more than 24 hours, but we don't know how much colostrum Mildred actually got from her mom. So we've been doing it for a couple days now, and then we will be adding this right here, which is the milk replacer, in today. And what we'll be doing is just combining the two into her little bottle right there. But for the time being, we have been using just the colostrum, and then I have been adding this right here. And this is a great product. Sometimes you can find them at your local feed stores. You can order it online, and what it is an electrolyte packet. I think the camera's focusing now. Yeah. Okay, it's an electrolyte packet, and Bounce Back is ManaPro is a great brand. We have used this packet several times on animals around here. It does really well, and what I've been doing with Mildred, because she was so dehydrated and pretty much dead by the time we got to her, is I have just been adding the colostrum in to her bottle, and then adding just a little, about a tablespoon of the electrolytes to each bottle that I've made up. And that's kind of why it's got just a hair bit of a blue tint to it, because the electrolyte pack is kind of a blue tint. And so it's been helping her along because of the fact that she was severely dehydrated. And then this right here, we've been giving her a little bit of this every day. This is agricillin, which is just penicillin, as you can tell right there. It's just penicillin for animals. And so it's got the calculated weights on there. Different animals are going to require different dosages. We've been giving Mildred just a little tiny bit every day because she's so little that we don't want to overdo it. And then you can treat them for 7 days. Really? You can treat, it says swine for 7 days, and so that's what we've been doing. We're on the 4th day. I'm sorry. We're on the 5th day today. And so it's kind of, really? It's been helping her fight the infection in her leg. And then, of course, for topical solutions to the injury on her leg, we've been using just gauze and Neosporin and Ace bandage, which I have to cut it down to fit her little leg. Some people say not to use Neosporin, others say that it's okay. We have used it forever and a day on all of our animals and never had a bad reaction. That's not to say that it's the best solution in the world, but it does seem to work good for us. Mildred had such severe injuries to her leg that there was not enough skin to actually sew anything back together, so it's just an open wound. And that's why we've been using gauze to kind of cover it. And then you always want to let... What are you doing? Hey! Of course she'd run away when I try to film her. But you always want to let a wound breathe, so later in the evenings we always try to take all the bandaging off of the leg and allow it to breathe a little bit, simply because you don't want it to stay wet and moist all the time. That can create even more problems for you later down the road. And so that's kind of just what we've been using. We are going to be adding the milk replacer in today. You want to slowly transition your animals from colostrum to milk. You don't want to just jump when you're starting your transition period. So we've been doing the colostrum and a little bit of electrolytes, and then today we'll be doing the milk replacer, colostrum, and electrolytes as well. And all we're using here is just, as you can tell, it's just a little bottle. It's just a little human bottle. And I keep a bag of these that people give us, and that you can buy at the dollar store and stuff like that, because they are great for little goats or little piglets and stuff like that. Now we do have some smaller actual pet bottles that we have used for kittens and squirrels and stuff like that. And so, you know, I'm hoping that this will just kind of give y'all an idea of some products that you can use. Now, I believe that you can order all this stuff online. I'm not 100% for sure, but we try to buy everything from our local feed stores, either here at Grand Bay Feed and Seed or down at St. Elmo Feed and Seed. I think they're actually owned by the same people. I'm not 100% sure, but we try to support our local companies by buying from the local areas, just because we believe in supporting your local companies. Okay, so part of dealing with an injured piglet, or really any injured animal, is that you're going to want to try to keep them warm and dry. Now, the number one thing that we have done is brought her inside since winter has finally decided to show up here in Grand Bay, Alabama. And so we've got her, of course, in bedding, and she's got plenty of little blankets. And then on top of that, we have added these little socks. And they're full of rice. And so what we do is we warm them up in the microwave, and you don't want to overheat them because you don't want to burn your babies. And then I just lay them out for her, and what they mimic is the other little piglets. And so when she's ready to go to sleep, she'll bury them next to them and use the warmth to keep her body temperature up. It's a great idea for any little injured animal, not just piglets. We've used them for squirrels, we've used them for rabbits, pretty much any little injured. She's still hungry. Pretty much any injured little animal, or any little babies that you may be raising. This is a great way to keep them warm without overheating them or having to worry about really them getting burnt, as long as you don't overheat everything in the microwave, or however you choose to heat them up. So you guys can see she is getting big. She's doing really well. She's on just milk now. We have started a little bit of feed. She's getting around well, and her leg is doing great. We are past the point of infection, and she is well on her way to doing a lot better. We have updated. We have started using these water bottles instead of the rice socks, and the reason being is we were getting milk all over them, and then over time they'd kind of start to stink when you'd heat them up in the microwave. So what we've started doing now is just filling those water bottles with room water, and they do the same thing as the rice socks, only they last a lot longer and they're easier to clean. So that's always an option too if you're looking for a way to warm up a little piglet. And so there you have it. 2.5 weeks later, she's doing a lot better. Her and Lila are best friends now, or at least they like to aggravate each other. Alright, so there you have it. I hope this information has been helpful. Please bear in mind that by no means are we animal experts. We're simply trying to pass on what little bit we have learned throughout time. And from our family to yours, we wish you the very best in your farming and homesteading adventures. Thank you.